Hey guys, how's it going? Well, just wanted to just say a couple things. This has been a really busy it's been a really busy month and a half. I've invested a lot of money, and it's turned out to be very well. It's been very good. Cat's trying to get in the picture here. But I do want to thank everybody who's bought radios and who's buying radios. I do appreciate your business, and anybody who's going to be buying radios from me. I appreciate the business, and there's been a lot of agencies that I've been dealing with that have been really enjoyable to talk to those folks and be able to sell them some nice equipment. And these are some VHF radios. VHFs I'm kind of running out of. I've got the 2500s. I've got a couple of those in VHFs. Those are going to be converted to FPP. Although I may sell. What I'm going to probably do is take. You've seen the housings if you've seen my older videos. The last video I shot, or maybe the one before that, it had a housing on it, that a couple housing kits. Those are still going to go out. Co, if you're watching, some of the radios that I had slated to go out to you sold as they were, and the folks needed them, and so I'm trying to figure out exactly which radios that I need to be sending out. It's just been a really busy time, but it's been really good. The Q splits that are new in the box, I don't sell them with the box, but the Q splits that are new that you see on eBay, very good units. The Bravo version 12 firmware, very solid radios. I'm very I paid a lot of money for those radios, but at the same time, and I had to buy a lot of them in order to get a price that would be competitive, and at the same time I wanted to be able to have, and that's really what my aim has been, is to get the very best radios that I can. You know, there's a lot of radios that you'll see on eBay, and you see so many of them that they'll take a picture of just the front of the radio. You know, it'll be covered in dust. It'll have marks all over it, dinged up. You know, the fellow will say, well, you know, it's been sitting around for a while. I haven't turned it on, you know, in a year. And there's kind of a, you know, that's a big red flag. You know, then there's other radios that, you know, when you look at the back chassis, study that back chassis. Look around things like connection points and things that that are right, you know, right up to where the gaskets are, and look around and look at the bottom of them, and, you know, see if there's any damage, because sometimes you'll see corrosion and things like that, and I've seen that on radios on eBay, and it's never a good sign. Those radios, even though they're, you know, what they'll do is they'll take a really old radio, and they'll slap a new housing on it, and you know, then try to pass that off, you know, as a mint radio, when you really need to look, and if there's corrosion on the back of it, it's a good sign that, you know, the radio wasn't taken care of. There's, you know, there's folks that don't have, you know, hardly any feedback at all, very low feedback, no feedback. That doesn't mean they're bad sellers in any way, shape, or form. Everybody's got to start somewhere. But at the same time, when you see a listing that looks suspicious, just be wary of it, because, you know, especially in that arena, it's very possible that that those radios could be a very big headache for you down the road. These radios that I get in, I run serial numbers on them on a continuous basis, and I run serial numbers all the way up until the time of shipment. And the serial numbers are run either the day before or the evening before the radios actually ship out. And the radios are usually in my possession for about, well, it just kind of depends, but you know, I keep them in my possession to make sure that once I run the numbers and run the numbers and run the numbers, then I feel comfortable about selling the radios. I don't like to just get a radio and then just throw it out there, because at the same time, you know, it's just not it's not a good idea. Sometimes you need to and don't buy radios unless you've run the serial numbers. If you get a hold of a seller and he can't give you the serial number of the radio, you can tell him to turn the radio on. You can tell him to it's very simple. You just turn the radios on. You right above push to talk, you push it 5 times, and it goes into service mode, and it will tell you all the things you need to know, and it will show you the serial number on it. It's just that simple. If the guy can't do that, if he says he doesn't have a battery for it, really question why that guy's got, especially if it's an XTS 5000 or a high tier radio. Really question as to why he doesn't have a battery and why he doesn't have a charger. You know, that's a red flag as well. It's just you know, you got to realize that there are some bad apples, you know, in this world, and you know, occasionally you're going to be let down. But at the same time, you've got to be vigilant, and you know, you've got to consider the fact that what I think people should do is, I think they should actually take actual money and the actual amount of the money that they're going to spend on a radio, take it in 20s, set it out in a line, and take a good long look at it, and then think about that amount of money being passed over to somebody without asking any questions. You know, if you lose out on a sale and somebody else buys it and it turns out to be a great radio, well, that's, you know, that's unfortunate, but at the same time, what you're doing is you're actually making sure that you're not setting yourself up to get a very big headache buying a radio that could possibly be hot, that could possibly not work, untested. You know, I got it from, you know, from a buddy of mine, you know, things like that. Just be very careful, you know, when you're on buy any radio secondhand. It's just really something that you need to do when you're spending, you know, up to $1,000 and sometimes, you know, $1,200 on a radio. You need to ask questions, and usually, if it's a good seller, and if the seller's, you know, doing this as a business. Sorry, I don't have this on intelligent auto. Maybe the shaking will go away. But usually, sellers that have been selling radios for a while, they've got no problem in answering your questions. Some might, and if some do, you know, it's a good indication that, especially you know, if they just, you know, won't ever answer your emails, you've got to really take into consideration all that money you've laid out and you've looked at. Do that sometime, seriously. I highly suggest that, and take a look at that, and, you know, take a picture of it. And before you buy a radio, you know, you've got to insist on a few things. You've got to insist on the flash code. You've got to insist on the firmware version. You've got to insist on the serial number before you buy the radio. If the guy can't provide that, it's a good, or is unwilling to, it's a good indication that, you know, you probably ought to pass on that radio. But again, look at the back plates, look at the condition of the radio, and look at the feedback, and, you know, that will tell you a lot of things. But the descriptions that just have like 3 words on it and maybe 1 picture, you know, it's, especially, you know, if the guy's just got maybe, you know, 10 or 5 or 7 feedback scores, question that, and, you know, keep in the back of your mind exactly how much money, you know, these radios cost when you're actually looking at the cash. But what I try to do is I ask those questions. I look at everything. I make sure that I know the serial numbers. If I lose out on a sale because, you know, I've written and I'm waiting for an answer and it's on a buy it now, and, you know, then it comes back as, oh, okay, well, it's clean, bam, somebody else bought it. Well, you know, it's a shame, but at the same time, it's something you've got to do. I would much rather lose out on a radio sale than buy a radio and then have to go through the process of, you know, dealing with the police, dealing with PayPal, dealing with eBay, trying to get your money back, going through all that stuff. You know, it's just a big headache. You don't want to go through it. But anyway, sales have been very good, and I really want to thank the folks who have been buying and the folks who are considering buying. The agencies, a big thank you to all the agencies that have gotten a hold of me. The police chiefs, the detectives, the fire chiefs. You know, there's been a lot of them that have come through, and it's been a very nice working environment with them, and they're very good people. And, you know, when it comes to radios, when it goes into the public safety sector, that's important. And, you know, I really want, well, I insist that the radios that go into the public safety field, that those are beyond, you know, beyond, or at least equal to the very absolute best that I can get. By the way, these are very nice. These are the swivel type holsters with the D clip. They're pretty inexpensive. I've got a lot of these. I am selling, you know, I'm selling them some with the radio packages, but this is just another carry option, and it's a little more inexpensive. You know, it's not as expensive as the ones that I've shown you before, but at the same time, you're talking pretty good metal there, and leather, and you've got snaps on here, and the D clip just slides in onto the back of the radio, onto the battery. What they really need to do is they need to make these D buttons for the XTS lower tier radios, such as the 1500, and even into the Juarez series, but 1500, 2500, they need to just come up and develop, you know, a thinner, well, a little. It takes a little bit more of a design. You can't just cut this down because of the way that the batteries lock on. Anyway, this video's gone on 14 minutes and I really haven't said much. But I do want to thank the folks that I've been dealing with, and the folks that have bought radios, and the folks that are needing radios. There have been several folks that need the 800 megahertz. You can get a hold of me anytime. You got my phone number. The folks who have my phone numbers that are in public safety, don't hesitate to get a hold of me. I'm more than happy to help anytime I can. Sometimes time and shipping and selling, might postpone my response, but usually I try to make it the same day, and I usually try and call you back if I miss your call. But get a hold of me if you're needing the 800 megahertz, if you're needing the VHFs, if you're needing the Q splits. I would much rather do it off of eBay and sell direct. That's how a lot of my sales have been lately, and it's worked out very well. But it doesn't matter either way. eBay's a good platform, and they give a lot of exposure. There's a lot of policies I don't agree with eBay, but at the same time, exposure, means a lot. And to that end, it's very nice to have this platform as a way of getting to people, kind of telling them what little I can tell them about some of their options for communication needs. But anyway, if you guys need to get a hold of me, more than welcome to. My inbox is working now, so I'm very happy about that. But if you need anything, let me know. I'll see what I can do. The Converticomms are going to be selling soon. I think I have 5 of them, and I've got 6 of the display mics. So I've got some good setups, and I've got some good units, and a good supply of them. And the Q splits are just fantastic. But anyway, take it easy, guys. And I just wanted to just say a quick thank you to the folks that have been buying and the folks that will be buying. I appreciate your business, and I appreciate all your purchases, and it's been very nice to do business with you. So take care, guys. Later on.